Hello, it's very nice to be here. So it's been about a month since I've been able to kind of play here with you. And last week, Steve was here. Thank you very much. Steve's kind of been very helpful in putting all this together. We've really constructed this in a way to where there was a whole aspect of what Steve could bring to the experience of building this park bench, this new realm, and the construction and the how-to part that I'm playing in. And so we're about to play in a space where we're going to expand all of that how-to. How do I create? How do I experience? How do I have what I wish to have? So one of the things about, or let me just pause and say that also there's a whole bunch of new people here, new to Mastering Alchemy, so welcome. One of the things about Mastering Alchemy is it's about how to. How do you do this? How do you create the experience you wish to create? And so one of the pieces in this park bench that we're watching is the park bench, the experience that we're all playing in And that third and fifth dimensional space are changing really rapidly. I mean, really rapidly. It's very exciting what's going on. But in this space, how do I manage my balance? How do I manage my point of observation? How do I choose to step into the place that supports myself and others and allow the noise, the train to go by that is very disruptive? So one of the things about spirituality is very mechanical, very mechanical. It's all about feminine and masculine. It's about flow and structure. It's about assemble and disassemble. It's about the out breath and the in breath. It's about the construction and the allowing of it to fall apart, go away. So how do you do that in an intentional way that allows you to really pay attention to that one question we keep seeming to ask, what do you want? But there's another question. It's, how do I get what I want? And so we're going to begin to play with the answer to the how do I create what I want? How do I align it in such a way that literally I hold out my hand and the apple appears? Because that's what's supposed to happen when I align energy in this particular way. It's also layers and layers and layers of possibilities. And so we're going to kind of play in how do you begin to assemble in those layers of possibilities with the opportunities that you use all the time. Every day you use these tools, these creations, these opportunities. So let's see if we can unravel it, assemble it in a little different way. But first, let me ask you the simple question. Why are you here? No, I mean, like right now. Why did you show up today? What's your intention for being here? Did you create an intention for being here? You see, this concept of intention is the building block of your creation. And we're really sloppy as humans in a general way because we are playing with all the tools of creation, but to a great extent, we didn't read the owner's manual. We don't understand that certain thoughts and certain actions and certain emotions all assemble a certain result. And when we've been playing in this 3D game where to a great extent what I want has been not obvious to how do I get it, because the mom, dad, teacher, minister, and others say, I don't give you permission. Or if you want to be successful, this is how you play the game. And so we went, okay, and we've been doing that. And to a great extent, there's been some success, but to a larger extent, I think for many, the sense of success, joy, passion, enthusiasm, creating and experiencing the apple that I wish hasn't been within our grasp because we gave up seniority. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And really didn't understand that how I think a thought and combine it with an emotion or a feeling or a passion creates the result. So would you take a breath and kind of just sit back and what would you like to experience today? What would you like to end this session and feel, think, or experience? Just a real simple question. Maybe examine it in the context of what is your intention for being here? Well, I mean, the energetic is set in building a new realm of consciousness, creating a doorway for all in that third dimensional space that would like to step out to have an experience. It's also your experience. How do I wish to begin to experience my own creation, given that I'm the creator and I'm the creation? How do I begin to make this all work? So when I sit down to kind of do this, well, what's my intention? And it's interesting because it doesn't just happen that simply, and I suspect it doesn't happen that simply to you. What is my intention? Well, I'm real conscious of this all week long, all month long. It's like, okay, what's this next session going to be? What's the opportunity in this next session? And when I ask that question and I begin to get really clear about how I create and how I'm aware of the mechanics, the feminine and the masculine and the assembly and the disassembly and etc. Oh, and you do it from a quiet, focused place in this octave. What I get is multiple choices, multiple possibilities. And it really gets exciting until I get to here, because usually I have 50 choices, 50 different scenarios, 50 different possibilities to talk about, each one that could go on for weeks because they're that exciting. And yet I get here and it's like, well, no, I can't do that. But what I do is I start trying to weave them all together, and then it gets to be about an hour before here. It gets to be like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing at all. I've got too many stories. Anybody know that place? Well, as you get into this fifth dimensional space, you're going to. Oh, it's quite exciting. And it can be a little bit positively overwhelming. But this is where you take a breath and step back. And in this case, today I sat down here and I said, what's my intention? What's my intention? Why do I do this? And the answer was really clear. My intention is to create an image, write a script, create a concert, sculpt a sculpture, paint a picture that allows others to begin to have a sense of the beauty that I'm creating in their space, remembering the beauty that they're creating. Now, is that 100% for me, 100% for you? I get excited about the possibility. That excitement begins to illuminate, and you remember you. And then you get excited, and I remember me. You see, that's what this fifth dimensional space, this multi-dimensional space is all about. The great dinner party where you laugh and you make fun of one another and everybody enjoys himself. Then somebody says, geez, it's 2:00 in the morning. Oh, no, that's not possible. We just got here. Do you know those spaces? You see, that's the fifth dimension. That's the multi-dimensional space that you're stepping into. And in that space, there is no fear, there is no doubt, there is no, I'm not okay. It's a space where you leave that all behind. Now, the really exciting part about where this game is being played right now is it's moving very rapidly. As above, so below. You're beginning to have opportunities presented to you if you notice. But so many of us are still giving attention to that third dimensional game, which is loud and noisy right now. Oh, it's going to get more fascinating too. But in real terms, if you look at it as 3D, like so many people in 3D are, and it's really challenging watching the experience that they're having. Roxanne and I just went to an LGBTQ meeting with people that we know, and they're all kind of baby boomers. They're terrified. That's not an exaggerated statement. These people are terrified. And what they're doing is they are simply giving attention to what they believe the world is all about. And they're correct. It's what the world is all about for them. And right here, one of the challenges is how do you as a healer, as a giver, as a person who cares about others, how do you deal with that? Now, if you put your finger into that light socket, it's going to be consuming. And This is the game that we're playing right now. But if you can step back and begin to recognize for yourself personally, there are lots of experiences in that 3D right now, and the majority of them have nothing to do with you at all. Nothing. They're movies that are going on. They're other people's movies, and those movies are constructed for the opportunity for others to step out of their movie, just as yours is to step out of your movie. Why park bench? Why are you here? And to a great extent, it's how do I begin to hold that level of light that is able to sit with that person and just allow them to find the beauty within them, to shift their attention from what they are worried about to what is possible. And maybe it just happens a little tiny bit, not a whole massive, just a little tiny bit. And the task is simply to be that level of beauty. But the challenge is when I'm in that 3D, when I'm giving attention to those movies, the ability to be the beauty that I am seems to be forgotten. So here's where we're playing right now. And here's where we're going to play for the next couple of months in some very clear step-by-step ways. How do I hold beauty and enjoy myself 100% for me and providing 100% service to others. It's mechanical. It's intentional, it's focused, it's a clarity. And it happens every moment, with every thought, with every emotion, with every action, every moment. Daunting task, as Kuthumi said that to me right at the very beginning of my journey. And I kind of smiled and said, yeah, well, it'll be some time. But the interesting part is that time is now. And that time is happening to you. It's happening to me. It's quite exciting. So would you take another breath? And then my task is to create an imagery, create a vibrational field of light, create concepts, ideas, points of attention to simply be reflected to you, to remember you. And you, in that moment, reflects to me the opportunity for me to recognize me. Very mechanical, this whole process that we're playing in. And not difficult when recognized how you begin to step through these processes. So would you take a breath and would you sit back? And one of the places that we've been playing all along in creating this realm is this octave. This octave is a tremendous gift. It basically is an elevated vibrational field of light that allows joy. And it doesn't hold fear or doubt. It simply holds vibrational stability that allows opportunity. So one of the things about the mechanics of spirituality is the very first thought is creative. And that first thought begins to become an idea and a concept and then a creation. And then it moves into that state of creation and then it begins to build a foundation for other thoughts. Or it begins to be a one-time experience and it was now able to dissipate. But the octave holds a stability in this fifth dimensional space. Now, I know I'm repeating things that we've been saying for a long time. But right here, what I want to point out is what has been is no longer, and what is coming into play is arriving. And so trying to figure out what will be based on what has been is going to be something that will be challenging. However, if you can move into this space of this octave where you can give to yourself a smile, a sense of beauty, a well-being, a great idea, this would be a lot of fun. I'm pleased with myself and I'm okay. And simply do nothing else but hold that attention right in that space. So would you take another breath and let's start and play there today and going forward. This is a platform that allows that third dimensional space to basically move to a distance to be observed but not experienced. So another breath, very mechanical. Would you be right in the center of your head, right behind your eyes? Just simply take a breath and kind of look at the back of your eyes, and then look through the back of your eyes at kind of what's out there in front of you, even though your eyes are closed. Very mechanical spirituality, very fluid. And would you take another breath and would you just simply be aware of being grounded? Here I am, I'm sitting in a chair, kind of feel your butt on the chair, you're grounded. Not a complicated thing, comes with the body. And then would you be here, present time, right now, not a minute ago, not a minute from now, not last week, next week, right now, right here. You're the creator, creating the creation. And as you get into this space, present time, right here, quiet, aware. I am aware of being grounded in the center of my head, sitting in a chair, and there's nothing else to be aware of. I'm right here. Now, right here, just see how successful are you right here. Are you, in fact, right here quiet, or is the rational mind kind of running, moving you to another thing? We said this, or that should happen. Oh, tomorrow I have to. See, that's the noise of that third dimensional habit. So if that's there, would you intentionally be quiet, aware, and then observe quiet and aware without thinking or without talking to yourself? You could smile. Smile's useful. Got to be amused with yourself. See, what happens when you smile and you're amused by yourself, or you look at beauty, or you simply find that, wow, that's really interesting. The energy changes. You change. You begin to be in that state of the heart that simply allows you to be you. Not complicated. Let me say this again. This creation that we're playing in, that I'm projecting, I'm making up, imagining, creating a fantasy, pretending, making up. Wow, wouldn't it be beautiful to be in a space where I could be sitting on my porch and overlooking the edge of the cliff, and there's the bay and the dolphins and the whales, and it's really quite beautiful. And then my backyard, the Swiss Alps and that beautiful green grass in the springtime and the snow on the mountains. Yeah. Hey, that's what I want. And there it is. It's not something in the future, it's now. There it is. Another breath. And did you wander into my picture? And did you allow yourself to have a feeling? I mean, just look at those dolphins jumping in a little lagoon right underneath, just kind of waiting for you. If you allow your imagination to recognize they're waiting for you. And right here, right on the edge of that cliff, jump, 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 splash, swim with the dolphins. Can you do that? Can you allow yourself that thought, that feeling, that possibility this moment? And is there a smile? Is there comfortable? Can you feel the water all around you? You see, that's this moment, having a thought, the intention to jump and jump, splash, water, dolphins. Beauty. Can you allow that creation? Creator. Now, we're in the process of kind of rearranging the game boards right here. And this is the transitional phase. I'm talking in this moment, in this session, this is the transitional phase. We're going from one place to another place. We're just in motion. We're just in awareness. We're just in attention, and we're using our attention to simply move me from the cliff to the water, from the chair to the valley, to the meadow, to the beauty, to what makes me happy. Now, kind of play with me, because we're changing the configuration of energy. We're altering the alignment of thought. We're changing the harmonics of matter. We're engaging with the elements of love. And we're doing it from this octave, which simply opens other doors than ever have been opened before. Can you have it? Now, the interesting question, can you have it? Can you have this experience? Can you be in the water with those dolphins? Can you find yourself laughing as you climb onto their back, because they said, climb onto my back, I'll take you for a ride. Oh, is that a fantasy? Wouldn't that be nice? Gee, someday that would be good. Or are you feeling yourself moving through the water? Now, see this space between this third dimension and this fifth dimension? It's all in motion, which is really pretty terrific, because when things are in motion, they're not stuck, they're not rigid, they're not fixed, they're no longer the only way I can do something. But right here, the ability to bring attention to playing with the dolphins in the water, walking in the meadow in the Swiss Alps, or just sitting here in the chair and smiling, allowing another possibility. Now, the game is really interesting, and it's actually rather simple. It's about this in-breath and this out-breath. It's about the feminine energy that is all flow and ease and movement, no straight lines. How is it possible? What could we do? I'm wondering. Feminine energy. The masculine energy, oh, that's the construction, the straight lines, the I can do this, watch me build this. Both are tremendous, joyful experiences, and one flows with the other. There is no separation. You see, from the first moment, that first thought, the feminine aspect of the creator thought a thought, motion began. And the motion begins to take on form. That masculine structure takes on form. It begins to tighten down. It's an electricity that starts to have possibility. And then the joy, it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. It begins to move out. The magnetic fields expand. That aspect of love just flows, no effort involved. Another breath. Now, if you can hold this line that we're walking right here, it's kind of a moving line. It's kind of like an elevator or an escalator. It's kind of stepping up as we're kind of moving along. As you allow the possibility of the images that are being presented, the configuration of light that's being organized, to choose, to rearrange, to focus on, to realize, oh, look at, that's really cool, but I can do it this way. See, that's you, the creator. Another breath. We're in motion. There all of a sudden begins to be in that octave a level of light that just is there. And what happens is you play in this intention and attention and play in the octave. The level of light doesn't go away. You see, you've stepped into a space in this octave that is no longer, that third dimensional space that has been is no longer available to you. It's as if you can't step back down to where you were. It does not exist. Now, does some third dimension and some ugly and some pain still exist? Oh, yeah. And that's just a choice to let go, and then it will no longer exist either in your realities. Now, how do you choose? How do you choose? See, this is an interesting place, this how do you choose? And there was a time, a good period of time ago, I've been teaching for over 40 years. And in the beginning of that, it was teaching clairvoyance and healing and telepathies. And it was teaching lots of people. And there was this one teacher, his name was Michael Tamora, and all he did was laugh. He just laughed at everything. And we were one day in this large building teaching these classes, and I think there were 13 different readings going on, and the energy was horrible, really horrible. Nothing was moving. And Michael laughs, and he says, where do you want to go to fix this, to change this, to kind of really get laughter into this whole space? And I said, well, let's go to the worst room and fix it. And he laughed and laughed. He said, no, we go to the best room. Best room. We don't spend time in the worst room. Go to the best room. And we go to the best room and we expand it. We make it more fun, more exciting, more interesting, more joyful. And then we go to the next best room and we do the same thing. And then we go to the third best room. And oddly enough, by the time you get to the third best room, the 13th room is laughing. Somehow the energy completely was changed without having to fix it all at one time. You see, because as you radiate this level of laughter and joy and light, you, the creator being, others begin to see who they are. And they begin to forget who they are not in this transition that we're now playing in. Pretty cool, huh? You know what? We've had other students too. And one of the things right here is kind of give you a tale of two students. And let me set it up with something that I've said numbers of times. Is the vibration of fear and the vibration of excitement are identical, the same vibration. Except one steps forward into possibility and joy and opportunity and creation, and the other steps back into doubt, uncertainty, and fear. They're identical. And we've had these two students, and recently, Roxanne and I and a couple of those students went off on a really wonderful trip into the middle of the ocean and a beautiful mountain and snorkeling in a bay. And one of these students had a belief system that was really strong, she created a long time ago. And everything in her reality is built around that belief system, and everything either fits or doesn't fit into that older belief system. And there was a moment where there was a conversation, and it was like, I had to say, what you are holding on to isn't exactly a truth any longer. Have you considered these possibilities? Here, take a look at this. And it was so disruptive, that confrontation of my belief, what I think is my truth, that I have held on to rigidly for a very long time and have not allowed anything to contaminate it, is my truth. And when confronted with the possibility that there was an opportunity to expand that truth into something even more wonderful, after many years of being in Mastering Alchemy, she quit. Confronting an opportunity to grow or stay where you are. And in that case, it was too challenging to consider a new possibility. Then there was another student who was really excited about what she was doing, and she was condemned also in a way that she just wanted to be a photographer. She didn't want to do anything else. She was smart. She didn't want to do anything else. And yet the people around her kept saying, no, you have to excel, you have to follow the rules. Great photographer. Didn't know what to do, though. All she really wanted to do is go around the world and take pictures of beauty. And she got this really ridiculous idea. She said, I'm going to go to the airlines and I'm going to say, you need my pictures to sell your business, and you should let me take pictures. Yeah, kind of a wild idea. Except she went to the airlines, and the airlines said, we agree. We think this is a great idea. We're going to hire you. We're going to fly you first class all over the world, put you up in the best hotels, and give you a great expense account to go where you want to take beautiful pictures. Take a breath. Which student are you? Possibility, excitement, go forward, allow opportunities, because this is the transition where everything's unfolding. Or simply step back Another breath. Now, it's mechanical. Spirituality is very mechanical. Oh, it's flow and beauty, that feminine side. Spiritually, structurally masculine. There's an orderliness to masculinity. It's an alignment. It's a putting the pieces together to create the apple you wish to experience. Now, another breath. Mechanical. There's an architecture, there's an environment, there's a landscape, there's an atmosphere. But the architecture, the construct, to a great extent, is second to the environment. What do you wish to experience? How would you like to feel? And can you step into the feeling and allow the architecture? I wish this beauty. I wish laughter. I wish to play with the dolphins. Well, I could create an architecture, a backyard with a patio that I can jump into the bay and swim. Take a breath. Because all that we're doing is lighting up possibilities of excitement and joy. You see, and this doesn't happen in the third dimension or the fifth dimension. It happens in what's called the fourth dimension. don't talk a lot about fourth dimension. Fourth dimension is a thought realm. There's nothing physical in the fourth dimension, but it's the field of possibilities to be organized energetically, electrically, and magnetically into creation. And we use it all the time. But when you use it in the third dimension, it's often built on doubt and fears. But here, where you're sitting right now in this octave, possibility, unlimited possibility. See, sometimes you have to rearrange the furniture. Sometimes you have to go to the joy, to add more beauty, to add more fun, to realize that you just rearranged the furniture. And what was old a moment ago no longer exists because you just rearranged the furniture. Another breath. So how do you structure the experience you wish to have? So would you take another breath, sit back, and just allow all that's just been said to be there? And would you bring your attention to that octave in the heart, that space where there is ease and lightness and joy, happy, your words. It's relaxed, it's comfortable, it's pleasant, it's friendly, it's co-creative, I can sit back and enjoy myself. Would you just find that space for a moment? And would you allow it to elevate into that smile, into that sense of beauty? It's right here, sitting on the park bench where you look out and you say, yeah, this is what I want. This is good. I like me. Sky's blue, pleasant day. Children are laughing. See, these layers and layers and layers of consciousness are starting to reposition themselves. This transition, this shift that we're in, it's happening, whether believed or not believed, whether noticed or not noticed. There is a very rapid acceleration from what has been to what will be. Some will drag their feet, holding their attention in, oh no, I can't do that, challenge my beliefs. Others will jump off that cliff and fly. And kind of be the one who jumps and flies. See, there is no gravity. Well, that's another discussion, but no gravity. Remember the time you had flying dreams? See, that's real, but forgotten, or it's like, no, not in third dimension. You see, one of the things that was taken away early on, imagination. Would you refine, give yourself permission for imagination? Now, here's where we begin to play. Here's where the next months are going to simply go from what was to what will be, if allowed. So right in this heart space, sacred heart, would you take a breath and would you have a sense of the smile that's in the heart? You see, that smile is one with Creator. And there's a beauty. And there's an opportunity to elevate the vibrational field. It's just like you go to the great part of that room where the fun was happening, and you begin to change and validate the fun, and everything else falls away. It's right here in the heart. And once that first thought is thought, emotion is created and then experienced, and it generates more experience. And there begins to be a pendulum that simply swings back and forth. Creation, alteration, things change, more creation. In the heart, running right through the center of you, is a column of light from above to below. Runs right through the center of every chakra, right through the center of the heart. And would you simply take a breath and would you begin to allow that column of light to spin? Now this gets interesting because it spins in two directions. It spins clockwise, running vertically through the center of you. It moves from left to right. And it simultaneously moves from right to left. Just kind of see it as two fields of motion inside that column of light. And this column of light is a golden light. And as it spins, it begins to create something you're most aware of, a torus. It begins to move outward, it begins to move around you. You begin to have two simultaneously spherical fields of light. Let's keep them even simple. 5 feet to the left and back, 5 feet to the right, above, below. But at the top and the bottom of this perfect sphere, the energy begins to move back into the column, and one spinning field moves down through the bottom and back out into the field of light, spinning. And the other one spins and it begins to vibrate upward and out in a torus donut shape, and then back into the bottom and moving upward. And the point of balance is right where you are in the heart. It's not a thinking space, it's an intention. And there's a calmness and there's an expansion. And as you take a breath and you breathe in, and the next breath, if you breathe out to the edge of the sphere, just intending to move the light out, and then the next breath, breathing in from the edge of the sphere back into the heart. And it begins to be a continuous breath, no interruptions. It just kind of flows out and flows in. And it becomes very calm, balanced, and light. Light in weight, light in brightness. And the breath is connected in and out. And it's as if there's a blue sky all around that crown chakra that we've set it, sky blue. All in the room are connected. And it simply begins to have possibility and opportunity, if allowed, just simply happy, This is the flow. This is that out breath, is that flow of the feminine nature of Creator. How is it possible? What is possible? And then the in breath says, this is what is possible. And that balance begins to accelerate in the field as you change the speed of light. Now, keep it simple. Joy. The joy begins to be a smile, and the smile begins to be an excitement, and the excitement begins to be the possibility, and there's nothing in the way. And if something does pop up in the way, it's like, oops, let me step back. Oh, I should put block 4 together with block 3, and then it moves forward. Creative opportunity. Another breath. And see, here you should begin to have this sense of feeling, this sense of smile, joy, opportunity begins to be freedom, a permission begins to simply be right there. It's always been there, but not really, not addressed, because I've been spending too much time paying attention to what I'm not. But here I am. Here I am. I am here. Another breath. Now keep it simple, simple. That smile, that joy, that buoyancy, very light. See, one of the things about Mastering Alchemy, for all of you who played, you know this all too well. It's all about sound. And we've structured that sound into words. And those words have construct. And when you begin to construct the words, you begin to build the architecture that houses the environment of joy. So right here, another breath out into that field of light surrounding you. Vibrates very fast, begins to simply generate its own light. It gets to be illuminated, this field of light. And then the in-breath begins to allow possibilities. How do I create? How do I make this all happen? That thought begins to present in form. First in thought form, I could do this. Oh, I never thought of that. All of a sudden, everything that has been there that hasn't been noticed begins to be available to be noticed. Another breath, please. Now, remember we said at the beginning, we're moving from where we have been to where we are going. And all we're doing is just putting the mechanics together here, and the journey is unfolding. Nothing to think about, just how does this feel, liking yourself? But let's play with a couple of those words for a minute, would you? Find the word certainty. For those of you who've never played this little game, do you know what certain is? Have you ever been certain? And usually the rational mind says, oh yeah, I know what that is. But would you take a moment right here and would you feel a sense of certainty? It's kind of that, yes, I can. Now this gets very interesting here. It's as if it's like, do you know how to lift the fork off the table to prepare to eat? That's a question. And the answer is, yes, of course. Well, are you certain? It's not a challenge, it's are you certain would you feel the certainty of knowing how to lift the fork? Are you absolutely confident you know how to do it? Is there any question in your mind, don't look for the doubt, that says I can't pick up the fork? No, I know how to pick up the fork. I am certain. But here's the interesting thing. Let's just play this out right here. If we don't just sit where you are and just kind of put your hand on the table in front of you, on your knee, wherever it is, just become aware of one of your hands. And then would you just lift your hand up? Put it down. Lift it up once more. How did you do that? See, don't think hard. This is where it gets really exciting, where you're going. You just lifted your hand. You didn't tell it to lift. You didn't instruct it to lift. You didn't give it a lot of attention to lift. You just lifted your hand. Can you stand up out of the chair? Can you sit back down? Can you walk out of the room? Can you come back into the room? Can you drive your car? How do you do that? You don't think? Oh, of course I've learned, but beyond that, what is it in you that without any thinking, without any preconceived notion, you just simply get up and walk out of the room? How does that happen? It's really a simple answer. It's quite amusing. It's simply you knowing you. But in a way, the mechanics, you've got it all structured in the autonomic nervous system of the body. You breathe, blood flows. All that happens without a thought. So, what would happen if I began to hold words that created a structure, an architecture, joy, beauty, well-being, certain, capable, seniority, co-creation, cooperation, laughter, I like me? What if you began to put that into the autonomic nervous system? Not hard, just not noticed before. So here's that spinning light. Take a look again, those two fields around you. All we're doing is bringing what is unconscious, lifting my hand, putting it down, automatic responses, to a place of recognizing the how do I create those automatic responses in a vibrational field of light that is not the third dimension. Another breath. Now we're beginning to play with the how to creator being, how to create. And not only the how to create, the creation I wish to create, to experience both creating and swimming with those dolphins. In fact, if you just pause and you notice, there they are, they're still there. You in the water, them there. Didn't go away. All we did was just move a tension point from one creation that's sitting there, half created, to another awareness. But in this other awareness, this space we're creating here, beginning to build the construct of this autonomic nervous system into joy. Now, imagine what it would be like if you could walk around with a smile on your face all the time, in a sense of excitement, knowing that you are about to have an experience that's exciting. It's like that student who said, I can do more, and put it out there and traveled the world without spending a dime of her own. Would you find that word certain again as a feeling? And then would you find it as a knowing? I am certain. Not a question mark, a statement, a feeling, a yes, I can. And smile. I like me. And another breath out to that edge of the sphere, and that sense of joy, and basically have a sense of elevating the vibration of the field in this joy. See, in a way, the fascinating part, some of you are getting it, some of you are not getting it yet. That's not a statement. It's just simply all of a sudden, it's like playing a game, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, I got it. And the next 6 moves just happen in the game. That's where you are right now. That's what this is. This isn't about mastering it right here. This is about allowing it and recognizing the possibility. I mean, if I step into possibility of changing that autonomic nervous system to begin to hold the vibration of creation as the spiritual creator I am, without the third dimensional limitations of that game board, this begins to be an illumination of awareness in my every action. Mastering every thought, every emotion, every action, every moment happens from right here. Now, another breath. So would you recognize we're just simply altering direction and expanding the direction? It's time to build that realm of consciousness, this higher realm of awareness, tangibly at the next level. A playground for you personally, selfishly, your playground. Imagine, make believe, pretend experience over and over and over. But as you build this playground, others will come. And they'll come one by one, they'll come 10 by 10. They'll come thousands by thousands to your playground. And there's that smile. And there's that opportunity to simply step forward into possibility. And right here, if you're holding this feeling and there's a joy in this feeling, you might just notice that the step of the third dimension in that ladder is no longer there. It's like climbing this mountain and stepping from rock to rock and getting to the top and glancing over the top and just going, wow, look at this. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. But see, this time it's different because the step to go back down no longer exists. This is who I am now. So transition, this is a transitional moment, creating a transition, an opportunity to know myself in joy. Now would you, again, just feel it. Very light, happy, comfortable, pleased with myself. Would you just bring yourself there? It's like sitting on the park bench, looking out at all the beauty, the calmness, the possibility, the well-being that exists in all that is as you're stepping out of that third dimensional limitation. So another breath. I like me. And can you just breathe out and breathe in a couple times with the I like me and the smile and the beauty? And would you make a decision that this is a framework that you, if you choose, wish to begin to experience? Allow it to be a fantasy, allow it to be imagination, allow it to be pretend, allow it to be hopeful, however you wish to frame it, but allow it to be a possibility where you are sitting. Just one more breath, or maybe two or three. What we're doing is changing the trajectory. It has been your request to us. It's been your request to us. I want more. Yeah, more. And so we're just shifting the framework, changing the position of observation to recognize there is more. And it's simple and it flows and there's laughter and there's joy as allowed. But we'll ease into it over the next months. We're going to build this framework and we're basically going to build it around this aspect of enjoying myself and allowing that experience of my creation in this enjoying myself to simply reflect out to ignite others to remember they can enjoy themselves. And it won't be so long, but it will be some time before this third dimensional game just is a thought that has been, and it begins to dissolve more and more because it is no longer necessary to play. The in-breath creates the possibility, the out-breath, the experience, and then the next in-breath, it's time to make an adjustment and add to. And that's where we are, making an adjustment and simply stepping into the love that we each are. So our request is that you play here for this next week. Imagine, keep looking over the edge of those dolphins. Enjoy the meadows of the Swiss Alps that we just brought your attention to. Enjoy yourself this week. No need to give attention to the noise. It's right here that this transformation is occurring. We will build on this next week and the weeks to come. So with that, we're greatly appreciating the creation you are creating for all to create and experience. Let me step away. Blessings.